Test, test, test. What's going on, y'all? What's going on? Let me know how we sounding. Whoops. We got a couple settings we're looking at right now. Make sure to go ahead and like the live as y'all hop up in here. Subscribe if you're not subscribed already. We're almost at 3,500 subscribers. We can get to that easily. We're going to wait a couple minutes before we start to break things down, but make sure to watch the Sunday chart now if you have not already. Like I always say, it goes over not just what we see price doing Sunday night going into Monday, but what we see price doing throughout the entire week. What's going on, my boy? I see you up in here. So we got a couple setups we're looking at, y'all. Again, we do got a Japanese bank holiday today, and then we do have a federal election for Canada popping off today, on top of it being Monday and the month ending. All right, so again, we're just doing for volume to kick in or confirmations to be met. But if GN can break and hold 23 or 2400 as support, we can look for buys going to 2455, and then we're looking at possible continued NAS100 buys and possible GU buys. Now we can look for possible buys here if it can hold 32.95 support, but I'm looking for buys here at 33.25 because if it can hold this level of support, which has been being treated as resistance since the initial retracement, this will be a clear sign that we have a higher likelihood of the uptrend continuing, and it's at least going back up to the previous highs, if not making new higher highs this week. Make sure I like the live as y'all hop up in here. If you guys got any questions, drop them in the chat. I'm looking at any charts, drop them in the chat. But you already know the drill. We're just chilling, patiently waiting right now. We're going to bring this alert a little bit lower. Got a couple minutes to the next 5 minute pops up. What's going on, Chanel? Ain't nothing. Ain't missed a thing. Nothing yet. Markets are just opening up, and the markets haven't done anything too crazy yet compared to last week on Sunday. So right now we're looking at possible GN buys, and then we're looking at GJ and GU for possible buy setups as well as NAS100. So as we can see, GN has respected this level as support is pushing back up. So we're going to be looking for possible buys if we can break and hold 2400 as support. All right. Now for the uptrend to come into play, we're going to need to hold 2465 as support. So we are still technically in reversal territory, but if we can break this resistance level and treat it back as support, we'll be one step closer to the uptrend coming back into play. So that's what we're going to be looking at right here with GBP New Zealand. Now we do have a JPY holiday, but we did catch some nice buys last week on GJ, so we're going to be looking for continued buys. We see here price is retesting and holding 191.15 back as support. So 191.15 can be held and respect that support. We could look for buys going to 191.90 when it comes to GBPJPY. And then GU, we can look for buys as well. Again, we can look for short-term buys here at 32.95, but the reason why I'm looking for buys here, if it can hold 33.25 as support, is because as we can see here, price has been treated as low as a resistance. So for the uptrend to even come back into play or continue, we're going to need to break this level and hold it back as support. Those are the main three charts we're looking at right now. NAS got a little bit of work to do, but we're going to be looking for NAS 100 buys later on, probably going into New York session. And then gold is in reversal territory, so we're just going to let it do its thing right now. As far as what charts have been up to since the Sunday chart analysis dropped, nothing too crazy has gone down. We're about to see what this next 15 looks like. We got a new 15 about to pop up in about a minute and some change, y'all. New 15 just popped up. Those just joined the stream. We have not entered these trades yet. This is the trade ideas. Make sure to hit that first link in the description. Join the free signal, free Telegram. Y'all see on your screens how we did last month and last quarter. Go ahead and hit that first link and check it out for yourselves. If you guys got any questions, drop them in the chat. When looking at any charts, drop them in the chat. We're just chilling, patiently waiting right now. So the markets are going to try to wake up a little bit. Let's see if we can break this level right here. Again, y'all, it's very simple. We know what our game plan is. So all we do is just wait. It's just that simple. We just patiently wait. That's why I have alerts too, because again, like I say all the time, I don't be just staring at the charts all day. I might look at something, watch something on my other monitor if I'm at my desk, or I just wait for my alerts to pop off and then I pop onto the charts and then see what's going down. But it's very simple. We just let price do all the work. Just let price do all the work. Make sure to follow me on Instagram and TikTok too, y'all. Y'all see it scrolling at the bottom of y'all screens. Instagram playmaker_way, TikTok _playmakerway_. Post daily on both pages. Got some new videos lined up for y'all tomorrow. Well, it's technically tomorrow now. So today, I got some new videos lined up to post on YouTube this week as well. Make sure to check out the playlist. All playlists are up to date. New 5-minute about to pop up in a second. Looks like the markets are waking up a little bit. Let's thin this line out right here. GJ starting to move. Looks like G starting to move also. past few weeks have been a little bit rangy and wonky, especially as far as forex pairs are concerned. But we had another undefeated 100% week last week. Let's go ahead and pull that up, y'all. Again, first link in the description. And if y'all been tuning into the live streams, we literally broke down as well as entered all these. Well, I don't know if we entered every single trade live, but we broke down all these trades during the live streams, right? So look at that Monday. We caught a nice 45 pips. We caught a GN sell. We broke this down and entered it during the live on Monday, as well as we broke down the setup of the Tuesday's live stream. Then going into Wednesday, we didn't take any trades. Then Wednesday night going to Thursday, we took a GJ buy setup. Caught this move right here. Again, this was Wednesday night going into Thursday morning. So we had like TP3 Tokyo session, and then that next morning going live again, we broke down and re-entered this trade live. All TPs got surpassed, got 69 pips there, and then the next day the final TP got hit on GJ, and then we caught a GU buy. Now I don't know, I can't remember if we entered this during the London session live or not. I think we might have entered. Yeah, we entered. I think we might have entered like an hour into a London session live. Nice 1 to 2, almost 1 to 3 restore ratio setup. So that's how last week went. So again, you don't got to trade every day. That's a misconception people get when it comes to trading. Because again, like I always talk about, when you're brand new to trading, you got to do some adjusting and deprogramming, reprogramming, right? Like again, when it comes to trading, you're not going to take setups every day, especially if your confirmations or your setups aren't there. The worst thing you can do, or one of the worst things you can do, is try to force setups or take trades knowing that those aren't the ideal trades or setups you look for, right? If you don't see your setups or confirmations, simply just wait, look for or look at another chart, or just don't trade for. Very, very simple, because again, trading is a long-term game and it's a week-by-week basis, ultimate month-by-month basis, and the ultimate goal is not to take a trade every day, but to be profitable at the end of the week, end of the month, end of the quarter, right? And when y'all keep that in mind, it's going to help y'all become a lot more disciplined and picky with y'all setups. So again, we got a new 5 minute about to pop up. Again, we're just waiting for our confirmations. You guys got any questions? Drop them in the chat. When we look at any charts, drop them in the chat. We're about to see what this next 5 and 15 looks like. What do I use to journal? So they have like websites and platforms that cost money, but you can use those if you want. But realistically, you don't have to, because there's that what's that thing, like that Google Sheets? That's like that grid. I forgot what it's called. Let me see if I can find it. Let me pull up my other tab really quick. But there's a couple things you can use. Let me see. What is it called? Is it Sheets? Let me see. No, it's not Sheets. It might be. It's on Google somewhere. Let me see if it's Docs. Okay, 1 second. I forgot, but there's like a Google on Google. It's either Google Docs, Google Sheets, one of the two, where like it's that I don't know what you call it, but like that grid setting, like what people use for like planners and stuff like that. You can use that to journal. But what I mainly use is Telegram, my notes, right? Because like Telegram, I document daily, weekly, monthly, win rates, trades I took, all that good stuff. But the main thing is you need to journal, right? There's a few ways you can journal things, right? So like when I first started trading, I journaled everything. So like I had notes where every news event, like every high impact news event, like this is before I learned how to read the charts and stuff. I used to like write down like how the news affected the markets, if it affected the markets, this, that, and the third. But the main things y'all need to be journaling is obviously the trades y'all take, right? So journal the trades you took each single day. Write down how much you risked, right? Percentage wise, dollar amount, right? What was your account balance, right? So like you're $1,000 account you're trading, you risk 3%. Write down what 3% is, dollar amount. Write down if it was a win or loss. It was a win. Write down how much you won. Write down the risk to reward. Write down the pair. Write down the time you took the trade, time you exited the trade. Right, and you want to do that every single day. Another thing you want to journal, especially in the beginning, is why did you take the setup, right? Write down why you took the setup, whether that was I went for buys because it was an uptrend, I saw a retest, or I saw sales because it was a downtrend, whatever, right? Write down why you took the setup. Write down and figure out on the charts, right? Because journaling is one thing, but you still got to back test and review your trades on the charts as well, because the chart's going to help you see things you could have improved, you did better, or what you did do good on, what you need to keep doing, right? But you got to write, you also need to write down your mindset throughout the trade as well, and what you could have did better. Did you break your rules? Did you stick to your rules? And things like that. And when you do that every single day, not only is you going to help to improve your trading plan, your psychology, but it's going to also show your track record of, one, if your habits are being, built correctly, your discipline's getting stronger, but also see like the consistencies and inconsistencies with your day-by-day trading, right? That's one of the things I did too, because like I told the story last week, right? If y'all missed like Friday's live stream, I recommend watching. We broke down a lot of good game in there, but that was one of the main things I had to document and go over when I was trying to figure out how to learn this shit. Was like, okay, like I was saying, like, what am I struggling with? What do I need to figure out? If I understood I need to figure out the charts. After I learned how to read the charts, I started to, again, document my trades, figuring out what is the best way to see success with trades. What trades do I see the biggest wins on? What trades or what setups I take give me the highest percentage winning? And that's going to help you narrow down and take away the bad setups, and also stop you from making bad mistakes. And you're going to start winning way more, and your wins are going to start being a lot bigger. That's literally what I did to figure out and refine and perfect the trading plan I teach the members and students in the trading plan that I stick to every single day. So those are the main things you got to journal. As far as platforms, they got platforms you can pay for. There's also that, I forgot what it's called, like that grid thing on Google Docs or Google Sheets or whatever. I forgot what it was called. Or you can just, good old fashioned get a notebook or notes in your phone. You know, that's what I did. Like I journaled everything on Telegram and the notes on my phone, and you know that's it, right? Like I still have notes on my phone that I add to or look at to this day, right? Like my rules, my daily rules, my percentage I'm risking every single trade, how many trades I'm taking, my game plan for every single one of my accounts. Like I have that literally written down in my notes, like on my phone. So you know you don't need nothing really fancy. You just gotta. It's just all about what the intent behind it. You know what I'm saying? But you don't need nothing really fancy to journal and document your trades. But I do recommend everybody needs to do that, especially when you're brand new to trading, because again, that's the best way, easiest way to learn from your mistakes, see what your mistakes are, and figure out what you need to improve on. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times we're just stuck in a loop and we're just doing the same shit over and over again, whether that's the same mistakes, the same habits over and over again. When you actually document and write down and have an actual intent and put an effort to improve and learn from those mistakes, that's when you start to see progress and change, especially when it comes to trading. But that's with like anything in life. You get what I'm saying? Let's see. Sheets here, yeah. But just that grid thing, you know, that's the perfect way to do it because you can section off the days, the months, you know, how much you risk, all that good stuff. Again, y'all, we're just patiently waiting for volume to pick up and our confirmations to be met. We know what our game plan is, so now we're just simply waiting for our confirmations to be met or not met. It's very, very, very simple. Let's see. Yes, Google something. They be changing. There's so many things nowadays. I know it's free because I've clicked on it and used it before. I just can't find it off the top of my head, but it's definitely if you Google it, it'll probably pop up. But again, it's like the grid sheet, something like that. What's going on, Doug? I see you up in here. I'm glad you asked that, Ellie. So again, trading is not, if you're looking for something guaranteed, or if you see stuff online where they say, oh, it's guaranteed this, especially when it comes to day trading, they're lying to you in this situation. We're live every single day. We look for setups every single day. We go for at least one trade a day. But like we were just talking about earlier in the live, if a setup's not there, or if a setup is not meeting my rules for calling a signal, let alone me taking a trade, I won't call a signal, right? So the perfect way to get an idea of what it looks like trading is just by going into the free signal free Telegram. I do the recap of the week every single week. So for example, we took 3 signals, but it was 4 different trades last week, right? If we look at the week prior to that, we only took 3 trades. Why? Because again, market conditions were different. They're different every single week, right? And this goes back to what we were just talking about. You're not going to trade every day if your sales aren't there. But we look at 3 weeks ago, we took a trade every single day, went 5-0. We look at the week before that, went 4-0. We took 0 trades on Tuesday. So again, every week is different. It literally depends on the market structure, the part of the trends we're in, volume, news. Every week is different, right? Like I had a question the other day when someone's like, on average, how many pips is your stop loss? I can't give you that because again, it's situational, right? So the best way to kind of get the idea of how we do things is tune into the live streams, of course, but of course, go into free signal for Telegram. You can literally do what I'm doing right now. It'll take it on a week by week basis, or you can go day by day basis. You can even go month by month basis, but it literally varies on a weekly basis. But one thing that's the same every single day is we're live every single day London session through EST, and every day during New York session, I send the New York price watches to the members and students. So I'm about to show y'all old signals. These are old signals. Nobody take these setups. These are old signals. Nobody take these setups. All right, cool. Right. So we call a signal Every day I drop the New York price watch list going over the trades we took London or Tokyo session, because we do take setups all sessions. Last week we took a session during Tokyo session. Obviously we're live every day London session, and we also take setups New York session, right? But every day I drop the New York price watch list going over the trades we're in, as well as possible setups going into New York session. So it's like a day-by-day basis of the Sunday chart analysis. But versus Sunday chart analysis, me giving weekly projections or projections for the week, the New York price watch list, me giving day-by-day projections on what we could see setup wise going into New York session, as well as again breaking down the trades we took if we took any Tokyo or London session. So a lot of setups go as projected, but if we just want to trade for the day, there's no point in me calling another signal because we just want to trade. But let's say you got wicked out early or you missed that setup, I've dropped the New York price watch list. And again, if you tune into the London session lives, literally every day on average 2 to 4 trades or setups we're looking at go as projected. But that's how the signaling service goes. Again, I'm not going to just call trades because I'm trying to meet a quota. If I don't see a setup that I would take, especially if it doesn't meet the rules for my signal room, I'm not going to call the trade, because I'd rather take 3 trades in 100% win rate than take 5 trades and only have 3 wins, 2 losses. You get what I'm saying? I'd rather go for the 100% win rate versus just taking trades just cause. Right. And that's again why we have such a high win rate on a weekly, monthly, quarterly basis, because we're not just throwing our money and just taking setups just to take them. We're very picky with our setups. Right. So again, the proof's in the pudding. But there's not I take, a trade every single day at 8 a.m. on the dot, and every trade's guaranteed to get 50 pips, and every stop loss is 30 pips. That's just not how it works. It's not realistic. Because again, every trade situational, you know what I'm saying? And every week the market structure is different as well. But let's see what we got up in here. But yeah, like I always say, I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I'm not gonna tell y'all what y'all want to hear. I'm gonna tell y'all what y'all need to hear, right? I make videos all the time talking about it. You come into trading, you gotta come with a whole different mindset from when you were working a regular job, right? A lot of times I made this mistake when I first came into trading as well, because again, I was a workaholic. I was a grinder. Again, everybody knows I was working 2 jobs, 6 days out the week, hustling. So when I first started trading, I thought the same thing, because not only everywhere we see online is people pushing scalpers, shout out to the scalpers, but also people trying to act like all it takes is 30 minutes to an hour a day to take trades. Like I know y'all see the videos every day, different faces, but they all say the same thing. Oh, I just made X amount of dollars in 30 minutes. I can't believe this. I can't believe all I do is trade for 30 minutes a day and make X amount of dollars. So everybody comes into trading thinking it's going to be in and out, or it's like some precise thing where every day is guaranteed this and that, when it's not the case. You get what I'm saying? When it comes to trading, you got to come with the employee. I mean, not employee, you got to come with the employer or business mindset versus employee mindset. Now, what do I mean by that? Aside from salary jobs and contract jobs, if you're just a regular hourly employee, as long as you work the same amount of days every single week, same amount of hours every single day, your paycheck's going to be the exact same. But with trading, is different. You show up the same time every day, but the outcomes every day is different, just like with the business, right? Every day you're open, but for a business, weekends might be busier than the weekdays, right? You might make more money on the weekends versus the weekdays. There might be some days where you lose money due to, something broken, you got to fix something, or bills, whatever the case may be. Same thing with trading. Some days you make money, some days you lose money, right? But the consistency or the consistent part when it comes to trading is, again, you look for the same setups, you show up at the same time every day, you trade the same sessions, but the results are different, right? So that's the biggest thing people got to understand when you're brand new to trading is you're not going to get the same shit every day, right? And again, just going to the free Telegram, everything is documented to make it very easy so y'all can see what realistic trading looks like, right? 69 pips, 182 pips, 45 pips, right? So every day is different. I'm not going to catch the same amount of pips every single day. That's just not how it works, right? That's just not how it works. But the ultimate goal is, again, to win more trades than you lose, and by the end of the week and of the month, to be profitable and be up. Right? The goal isn't to trade every single day. Now, if you can, awesome, right? But again, with the market conditions, like we've been talking about for the past few weeks, we're slowly breaking out of it. But when we look at what price was doing for majority of this month, which we see here, this was April 3rd, we see price was stuck in place all the way until last week. So again, the price is stuck in place ranging. That's going to affect trades versus when we had clear, pushes to the downside or clear pushes to the upside. You know what I'm saying? And we got majority of the charts doing this. So, these are things that's important to understand. Right? Again, I always talk about we make money based off the charts, we lose money based off the charts. So everything we do needs to be based off or because of the charts. So we got a new 15 to pop up in a second. Charts are still in the same place as we can see. We haven't missed anything. Again, this was 3 o'clock, 3:15, 3:30 candlestick. So again, this is why it's just important to be patient, because there's no rush. Literally no rush. If you guys got any questions, drop them in the chat. When we looking at any charts, drop them in the chat. Make sure to like the live. Y'all subscribe if you're not subscribed already. We just hit 3,400 subscribers. We hit 3,500 easily. All right, new 15 just popped up. Let's see if we can break this level here again, y'all. If we can break and hold 23.90 as support, we're gonna be looking for buys going to 24.55. That's what we're looking at right here. Those just joined the stream. We have not entered this trade yet. It's just a trade idea. Make sure to hit that first link in the description. Join the free Signal and free Telegram. Y'all see on your screens how we did last month and last quarter. Go ahead and hit that first link and check it out for yourselves. If you guys got any questions, drop them in the chat. We'll look at any charts, drop them in the chat. Let's see what this 5-minute does for us. Again, Q2 sale ends this week. I might extend it to Friday, but as of now, the sale ends at the end of the month, y'all. Again, just make sure to use discount code Q2. I should probably post it again. I just don't be trying to be too spammy. But I do need to start posting a little bit more, but I just don't be trying to be too spammy. But again, everything is 25% off until the end of the month to start off quarter two. That's all the books. That's the Advanced Play Signal monthly, yearly, as well as the lifetime. That's the one-on-one session, as well as the playbook course. Everything is 25% off. Just use code Q2 before checkout. If y'all got any questions about any of the programs, one-on-one sessions, course, Advanced Play Signal, this is the perfect time to ask about it. But you watched the last 2.5 minutes of my YouTube video. I'll go over all the details of that. I saw the past couple of videos people were asking. I don't know if y'all were in the middle of the video and y'all dropped that comment, or y'all just stopped at the end of the breakdown or the analysis or whatever, then dropped the comment. But literally at the end of every one of my YouTube videos, I'm like, okay, y'all, if y'all enjoyed this video, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Y'all listen for 10 more seconds or 15 more seconds. If you're interested in learning how to identify these levels, Senior Service Mentorship Program, make sure to link in the description button before making a decision. Let me tell you a little bit about those details. I tell y'all all the details about all the programs and all that good stuff. But of course, you guys got any clarifying questions, specific questions, y'all can always DM me on Instagram, Telegram, or TikTok. Y'all see that scrolling at the bottom of your screen. Telegram, first link in the description. Or y'all can ask me in real time during these London session lives. I'm going to see if we can break and hold this level, though. Yeah, we're just going to keep it on G. And I keep flipping, looking at the other pairs and charts, but they're still in no man's land. They got to figure their life out. Let's see if we can hold this level here. When did I drop this video? I dropped out in 22nd. I might drop a new Bitcoin update for y'all today. It's been about a week, so I might drop a new Bitcoin update for y'all. I gotta check my stock portfolios too, though, because stocks have been doing pretty decent as well. Again, y'all, this is the last week of the month. Like I always talk about, the first and last week of the month, typically the toughest weeks to trade because we have the most reports coming out and all that good stuff. And this week is not the exception. We got the infamous ADP popping off on Wednesday. And then, of course, we got the non-farm unemployment average hourly earnings popping off on Friday. So I got to double check my schedule. But as of right now, most likely we're going live with the members of students 8:15 on Wednesday, as well as 8:30 on Friday. All right. Again, pay attention to how price reacting to these levels is exactly why we enter and exit off these levels. You see how price rejecting it in real time, just like how price was respecting and rejecting this level in real time as well. Let's see what we got going on up here. Oh, I'm not talking about. Oh no, I'll spam videos and stuff like that. I'm talking like promotions or updates as far as the programs and stuff. But yeah, I got no issue, posting my recaps or letting y'all know when videos dropped, or letting y'all know like, hey, y'all need to check out the. Because a lot of times people be like, oh, it's a trade strategy. I'm like, the trade strategy is one thing, but the main thing I push over here is the power of investing and how to read the charts, right? Me giving out these weekly stock and crypto altcoin analysis isn't really the trading strategy, but because you understand how to read the charts, you're able to use that for long-term investments as well as short-term investments like day trading. You get what I'm saying? So if y'all been staying tuned to the okay, that's a nice push right there. Let's see how this 5 closes. That's a nice push right there. It's a nice push right there. Like that right there. Again, we need to hold this level, so as long as we don't break past this position here and blow past it, we're going to be waiting to see how this closes right here. GJ's still chilling, but again, it is Japanese holiday today. We didn't jump in this yet. We're going to see how this 5 ends. But this is what we was looking for. Entries. That's a strong push. We got 2 minutes of candle closes. I want to see how this candle ends right here. That's a strong candlestick though. If you guys got any questions, drop them in the chat. Want to look at any charts, drop them in the chat. But you already know the drill. We're just chilling, patiently waiting right now. So usually testing. So I want to see what this next 15 looks like. I want to see who's going to retest or who's going to keep trying to push through. We might pull the trigger on this soon. Let's see if it's going to retrace. I might try to keep pushing. We do have a level of traffic right there. We got GN retesting as well. G's still in no man's land. Yeah, so it's too far for an entry. Because again, we look at a price right here. It's at 24.20. And where we want to see the retest or where we want to enter at is ideally 2400, 2410 price range. And when it comes to risk reward, everything is important because we enter here as a 1 to 3. Now we enter here, and assuming it breaks past this level, it goes to the next one. This is a 9 to 2, right? So again, risk reward is very important. And when it comes to trades like this, every pip matters. Now we see here that in this case, if we broke out trade, we'd be making some money. But again, we're not trying to go for the small chance and likelihood. We also see price retracing right here, right? Because we can clearly see many other times breakout trading doesn't work, right? So just because one time we might see it work or play out doesn't mean we want to throw away that rule, trash it, and start breaking that rule, right? And I notice there's a lot of mistakes people make when it comes to trading. I used to make that mistake as well. But again, going back to journaling, this is why journaling, reviewing every trade is so important. You get what I'm saying? So I want to see who's going to retest right here. GJ retested as well. We're going to be on for a little bit longer, y'all. I'm going to see if we can enter this before we hop off. I want to see it retrace a little bit before we take the trade. So for this point, we're either going to see price retest or it's going to hit this level, then retest, or it's going to break this little retest. But either way, we're still looking for buys. But again, I'm not breaking my rules. I'm just going to wait for my rules and confirmations to be met. Again, price could easily do this as well, right? We see various different ways price reacts or plays through the level. This is why I always talk about back testing, because you'll notice the same stuff price does all the time, right? So we look right here, we see price broke but failed to hold, broke but failed to hold. Then we see here price broke, went up a little bit, but then came back down to retest. And then after the retest, that's when we see price pushing like it's pushing right now, right? We see also a couple other things as well going down that we can talk about while we're watching this play out. Right, we go to the handy dandy playbook. Let's go to the handy dandy playbook really quick. Where are we at? I'll be posting so much. Let me see if I can find it really quick. Here we go. Right. That's what I mean by, again, this is how the charts work. And every time frame you read the same way, right? So again, in order for the uptrend to continue, we need to break past the previous high, which gives a new higher high. We also have to respect the support level the higher low is resting on. So we see here we're in a clear uptrend. We see price made a new higher high, right? We see price turn this resistance level into support, maintain this level as support. So that's what I mean by a lot of times we get lost in the sauce where people will see this and think, oh, that means price is going to reverse because of a pattern, versus understanding that there's patterns in everything, in every direction price goes, and understanding that the cycle and the rules of the trend we're in is over any candlestick or pattern. We can see here that the uptrend still valid, which is also why we're looking for buys. And then we see right here that this was the previous higher high. And right here, we see this reversal. And this is why I always talk about rejections and reversals happen, but reversal doesn't always mean the trend is going to change, right? As long as price doesn't turn the support level into a resistance and don't make a lower low, we're still in an uptrend and still only looking for buys. So again, price never turned the support level into resistance. We never saw a lower low come into play. We just saw price continuously respecting this low as support. And then when volume kicks back in, we had this higher high. Price broke that higher high, right? And we can clearly see, right? We can clearly see that there's a resistance level here, and price broke this resistance level and turned it into support, which gave us this higher high we're seeing right now, right? So again, and this is real time, because I know when I be doing the TikTok lives or the videos, people are like, oh, that's a bar replay. You can, find a bar replay and prove your point, but this is real life. This is what price did last night, is doing right now. This is real life, right? So again, it doesn't matter the time frame, doesn't matter the chart or pair you're looking at. The playbook is the playbook for a reason. And again, it works on stocks, forex, option, and crypto. It teaches you how price action and technical analysis actually works. It doesn't just tell you about a candlestick or a pattern. It shows you how to actually read price, know what price is doing at all times, eliminate all confusion, and understand how price actually works. Because believe it or not, price isn't just doing random stuff. It's not the lions, tigers, and bears out to get you. There's little rules and algorithm price follows every single day, every single week, every single month, right? And we can literally do this with every single chart. It looks like the charts are starting to wake up. We see GU waking up. Only charts that aren't really waking up here are the USD charts like NAS and gold. But it's also not New York session yet, so that's not too much of a shock or a surprise. So again, with GJ, if we can respect and hold 191.15 as support, we can look for buys going to 191.85. GU, if we can hold 33.25 as support, we can look for buys going to 33.70, 33.75. And then with GM, we're either going to look for one or two things right now. We're going to look for a retracement, retest at 2400, 23.95 to see if we can hold this level as support. Or we're going to watch to see how price reacts here. And if it either rejects, we're going to look for buys if it can hold this level of support. Or we can break the whole 2460 as support. We're going to look for buys going up to 2550. So that's the game plan we're looking at right now, y'all. Again, if you guys got any questions, drop in the chat. When we look at any charts, drop in the chat. Make sure to hit that like button, y'all, and subscribe if you're not subscribed already. We got a new 5 minute about to pop up in a little bit. And this is also why I say you can't look for buys here. And y'all would have went for buys here, you'd be up right now, right? So again, this is what I mean. There's opportunities everywhere. Now, again, like I said, the reason why I didn't look for buys here is because, again, I'm trying to go for a big move. I like to go for big moves for the day. I like to try to catch the move price is making for the day. So I know if price can't hold this low as support or blow through it, not going anywhere as far as the upside is concerned, right? And we can see evidence here clearly from the initial retracement after the initial higher high here. Price rejected, held this low as support, but failed to hold this low as support. Held this low as support again, failed to hold this low as support, right? Failed to hold this low as support again, but respect this low as support. Failed to hold this low as support. And again, this is why, again, I don't break out trade. And I'm not tripping about GN because I know price is either going to retrace and I can look for retest, or I know I just save myself from taking unnecessary loss. Because again, look at all these times. Who would have took a breakout trade? Who would have lost? Who would have lost money? 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 What's money? Would have lost money? Right? Versus waiting for a retest, waiting for a retest, waiting for a retest. You get what I'm saying? So let's see if GN is going to do that for us or not. New 5 minute just popped up. Oh, shout out to you. Shout out to you. And if you got any questions, let me know. But it is pretty straightforward. But if you just got any clarifying questions, let me know. But again, just go through it in order. It's meant to just read it literally in order. You don't got to skip through. And after you read everything in order, then if you want to, go to certain sections to try to get a better understanding of, do that. But if you just got it, I recommend taking your time and going chapter by chapter. Like I said, there's picture examples everywhere. I pause at certain times to digest and think about what I just broke down. I give you pop quizzes and homework. Also have hyperlinks in there, sending you to videos that's relevant to the sections we're on. So yeah, it's very thorough. And like I said, that book is going to, if you stick to that playbook and you digest everything, that book literally shows you how to read the charts, exactly how I read them, right? And then from there, you can use that and add that to your strategy or help come up with your strategy, or use that to apply my strategy, right? But before you can even do anything, like I always say, it doesn't matter what strategy you have. If you don't know how to read the charts, you're still going to be confused, because again, most strategies either include or require an indicator, and the indicator just tells you, oh, when you see this happen, enter a buy, enter a sell. Or when you see this pattern or this candlestick, enter buy, enter sell. But you still don't understand fully, one, maybe why you're taking that setup to begin with. Two, what's going on in between that setup while you're getting from entry to TP. You know, is this just a retest? Is this a retracement? Should I close the trade right now? Should I keep holding? All that good stuff. Because I'm telling you, like, the biggest breakthrough for me was understanding how to read the chart. Like, once I understood how to read the charts, then it was officially just me versus me, which is discipline, right? I had to get my discipline, my mind in order. I had to stick to the rules after I came up with the rules. But, you know, the first thing is you got to understand what's going on and what we're doing here, right? But discipline is very important as well. New 15 about to pop up. I was trying to enter this trade live because it'd be funny because when I end the live, usually like 30 minutes or an hour later, we'll take a setup. I'm trying to see who's going to retest. But I do got a few things I got to do before the day gets started. Again, y'all, make sure to follow me on Instagram and TikTok. Y'all see it scrolling at the bottom of y'all screens. Instagram, playmaker_way. TikTok, _playmakerway_. Post daily on both pages. Got some videos lined up for y'all today, dropping as well. As well, after the live, make sure to catch up to the videos on YouTube. All right, all playlists are up to date. Again, as far as today is concerned, we do have a Japanese bank holiday and we got federal election going on in Canada. But that's pretty much it besides it being a Monday. The hell was that? Somebody starting their car outside? New 15 just popped up. So GJ looking nice. GN still pumping, so we're gonna let it do its thing. Yeah, these things are dead right now. How is this looking? So from here, we're either going to watch to see if price is going to break or hold this level or retrace. We're still looking for buys, but like we talked about in the Sunday, am I in there? Yeah, I am there. Just like we talked about in the Sunday chart analysis. Again, make sure to check this out if you have not already. Like I always say, the Sunday chart analysis goes over not just what we see price doing Sunday night going into Monday, but what we see price doing throughout the entire week. And we go to GN in the Sunday chart analysis, like we talked about. This is still reversal territory. But if we could have broke this level and held it at support, in this case, we blew through it, but we just broke down why we blew through it because we're in the middle of a higher high. We just broke the high to the left. So we're either going to see retracement. But like I said, for the uptrend to come into play, we're going to need to break a whole 2465 as support. If we can hold that level back as support, we can see that higher high get made again. And then see if we can take out these highs to the left, right? So if we don't hold this level as support, let it on break these next levels, we're going to be back playing pinball, or we're going to see a harsh reverse on the downtrend come back into play. All right, so that's what's going on GN right now. Now, it has done a decent move for the day already, so we're either going to see a normally large candlestick today, or we might see some ranging. We do got some important news events this week. We got a whole lot. I forgot. We got a bunch of holidays Thursday and Friday too, or Thursday. But we'll get to that when we get to that. You can see the market starting to wake up. We're going to be on for a little bit longer, y'all. If you guys got any questions, drop them in the chat. Want to look at me charts, drop them in the chat. Right, again, this is why we're looking for buys here. We need this level to be held at support. Whoops. Let's click the wrong thing. I like GJ here too. I don't think this is a holiday today. So again, the holiday doesn't mean that there ain't gonna be any setups on GJ. Just most days or most times, if there's a holiday on a certain pair or currency, it does affect the volume. But there has been plenty of times where I've taken trades on holidays and made some money. So I'm never gonna say it's not possible. But 7 times, 8 times out of 10, the volume's super low on holiday days. What's the bias on gold? I'm personally just leaving it alone right now. Thanks for reminding me though, because I do got to move these alerts. All right, but this is my game plan with gold. We're in reversal territory. So again, I don't really like to trade during reversals. I like to wait for a trend to be set and then go with the flow of price and trade with the trend. So we're in reversal territory. So I'm not going to look for sells unless we can break below and hold 3260 as resistance. But we're not going to really be into a downtrend unless we can break a hold 3225 as resistance, right? So we can hold these levels, next two levels as resistance. I'm going to be looking for sells, but I'm not going to look for buys unless we can break and hold 3340, 3342 as support. If we can't break and hold this level as support, I'm not looking for buys. So that's why I haven't really been looking at gold, because I already made the decision. I'm not going to look for any setups on it unless we can hold those levels. So I'm just letting it do its thing right now. But that's what I got with gold. That's what I got going on with gold. Now, for the scalpers and the people that like to catch some small moves, you can see short-term sells. If we can't hold 32.90 as resistance, you can see short-term sells going to 32.64, 32.62. But that's it. All right. But as far as analysis, as far as sells, long-term buys, long-term or overall, those are the two levels I'm looking at and waiting for price to touch and hold. No problem, no problem. Yeah, so right now I'm going to be paying attention to GU. We're going to be seeing if we can hold 33.25 as support. If so, we're going to be looking for rise going to 33.65, 33.70. GN, we're up past this level. And again, since I'm on breakout trade, I didn't take the setup. I'm not upset that it ended up pushing because I still fall close. And again, there's another thing that why mindset and trade psychology is so important, because when you're asleep, you're missing setups. When you're done for the day, you're missing setups, right? While you're in a trade, you're missing other setups. You're missing setups all the time. So as long as you just focus on what your ultimate goal is and not FOMO and try to catch every pip in the market, you'll be fine, right? Because price always retraces, and there's always another chart with another opportunity. You get what I'm saying? So got my alerts on here, and I'm mainly watching GU and GJ as well for buys. GJ looks like it's starting to wake up. GU, waiting to see if we can hold this level right here. All right, we just broke this level. So we're about to see if we can hold 33.25 as support. If we can hold 33.25 as support, we're looking for buys going to 33.70. All right, Joe. GJ's pushing as well. So yeah, this goes to show what I was just talking about. Even though it's a holiday, most of you see online when they hear about holidays, they be like, don't trade. This is showing that again, even when it's a bank holiday, your setup's there, you can take the setup. All right, so this is what I mean. There's a bunch of setups playing out right now. So we're going to be paying attention to GU right here. New 15 about to pop up. So let's see how this closes. Again, we have not been able to hold this low as support yet. Thursday was the highest we went last week past this level. And then last week on Friday. Now, this trade is actually still valid from Friday. Now, I'm not in this trade. I don't know if anyone swung or re-entered. But the trade is still valid from Friday because we didn't hit the final TP and SL did not get hit. And since we're already up again, I can show this signal. Hold up. Clear some space. Let me pull this up really quick. 32.80. Yeah, we didn't hit the stop loss, right? So this was a trade on Friday. Again, you see we entered this during the London session live on Friday. See the SL was 32.80, final TP 33.40. We did not hit 33.40 as we can see. 33.40 was right here. We respect as low as support. We also did not hit 33.80 because all we got to do is just put our line where that stop loss is. And then we go to settings. Why is that not working? It's weird. That usually works. Settings isn't working right now. But we just put where this line's at. We can see this 32.80. We can see pricing at that level. We're going to be looking for continued buys right here. Let's slide this back up. Middle of this week, the month ends. So you already know I'm doing the recap of the month. After the month is over, you want to sneak peek at how we've been doing this month. Really quick while this new 15 plays. Let's move this over. I don't want to miss this setup, actually. Hold that thought. Give me 1 second. All right, so this is what we wanted to look to see if GN was going to do. We see how we did this retest. And I guess because it was the resistance level, we failed to hold. So we're retesting this level. So this is also the higher high we have to break past to see a new higher high get made as well. So let's see if we can hold this level here. So let's see if we can hold this right here. All right, so back to that. I just wrote that out. So again, sneak peek of how we did or how we're doing this month. Went 3-0 last week. The week before that, we went 2-1. Only loss we've taken this month. Week before that, we went 5-0. Then week before that, we went 4-0. So that's how we're doing so far this month. Absolutely been killing it. Just picking up where we left off last month and last quarter. You can see right here, last month we went 13-1, gives us a 91% win rate. Score April 1st, you can see that right here. Got a total 146,592 pips. Just slide it over so we can still watch that. So again, we're waiting to see if we can treat this resistance level into support. So far, so good. We want to see if we can hold this level here, but I like how it's looking so far. That's a nice retest. So we're just going to watch, see how that plays out. We might pull the trigger in a second on that, though. If you scroll April 2nd, you can see how we ended quarter one. January went 17 and 3, catching 7,463 pips. February went 14 and 1, catching 1,152. March went 13 and 1, catching 146,592 pips. And in the quarter 44 and 5, gives a 90% win rate, catching a total of 155,207 pips. So again, we've been going absolutely crazy. Same thing. You click right here. It's going to take you to the beginning of the year, first month of the year. And you scroll up, and again, just keep on clicking these. It's going to take up a week by week or quarter by quarter basis or month by month basis, depending on which ones you click. But again, everything's dated, time, documented. Literally can't make none of this stuff up. I like that retest right here. Let's see what these other charts up to. GN's still chilling right here. So after I did that push, it's been chilling here for the past 30, 40 minutes. And then gold and NAS are still waiting for pre-New York, if not New York session, to wake up. So I like, whoops, y'all know at least once I got to drop something in y'all's eardrums. So I like that retest right there. I do like that right there. The numbers on, we're back at TP6 with this trade. All right. So this right there. It's a nice retest. Again, for the uptrend to continue, we're going to need to not only hold this level as support, but break past 3370. All right. You can see here the past few days after the retracement, we've been trying to push our way back up. And then yesterday and today, we respected 3295, 3300 as support, which is a good sign. So now we just got to hold this level as support for the uptrend to continue to come into play. And for us to see that next move play. GN and GJ are going as projected. So again, if y'all was here at the beginning of the live stream, watch the Sunday chart analysis. All you gotta do is rewind and fact check. What we was talking about, we was looking at FORE and looking at GN buys, GAJ buys. My big still is up, but GN, GJ buys, GU buys. Of course, we started looking at NAS buys, but we can see NAS has done nothing since the live started. And of course, we didn't talk about gold because, again, gold is not what we want to look at setups at. But again, that's what I was just talking about, right? So again, there's setups everywhere. Now, this one didn't get a retest we was looking for. But again, we're going to wait for price to either retrace and retest or see how it reacts to this level, see if it can hold that level or if it's going to reject and retest. And then we saw GJ do again a retest. Again, why we don't breakout trade. Because again, we had this gap here. We saw price break through this level. So yes, in this case, we would have had some money made if we would have broke out trade. But if we look to the left, 2 times prior to this, we would have took a loss breakout trading. And then we look at this retracement. If we didn't wait for the retest here, would have took a loss. We would have went for a trade here, we would have took a loss. But we see here where price retested, we see price is pushing up a lot further. So this is again why we wait for retest confirmations, because if price can not only break a level but retest and hold that level, we have a higher likelihood of not only price continue to push in that direction, but us catching a nicer, bigger move off of that. You know what I'm saying? So that's why again we always want to enter off of retest, whether that's buys, we enter off support levels, right? Or if it sells, we enter off of resistance levels. See what I'm saying? We enter off resistance levels. Whoops, what the heck? So this was a good live, y'all. Let's see how GU plays out. We're back at TP6 for Friday's position. We're waiting to see if we can hold this level as support. We keep pushing up. Again, as far as news today, we don't have any news, so we're simply just waiting for volume and our confirmations to be met. We're waiting for volume to kick in and our confirmations to be met. Again, we do have a Canadian election going on today, and we do have a Japanese bank holiday. But besides that, it's just a regular Monday. My rules? Are you talking? So I have a few rules. So are you talking about my rules for entering trades? Rules for the type of trades I go for? What are you talking about? Exactly. So I can make sure I answer your question. So I have a bunch of different rules for different things. So let me know exactly what you're talking about, and I got you. Entries. Okay. So I got you. I talked about that in this video as well. Let me find that video. Here it is. So make sure to. Oh, I was like, did the stream got in my live? But now we're still live. So I talked about that. I talked about that in this video. But the rules are very simple, right? So first rule, and it's just like all my trade breakdowns. My first rule is I always want to go with the flow of price, which is why I always stress what trend we're in and what flow of price we're in. Because again, trading is all about high probability, high quality setups. We hear it all the time how people talk about, oh, you can't control the markets. You hear all the time how people say trading is risky. I always say trading isn't risky. People are just being risky. Just like when people say trading is gambling, it's not gambling. People are just gambling, right? Trading is, again, going for high probability, high quality setups, and it's calculated risk. There's nothing gambling about it if you stick to your rules and you actually know what you're doing. So, again, in order for me to have a high probability setup is to go with the flow of price, because, again, we don't control the market. So that's why I'm always strict with going for buys only in the uptrend, sells only in the downtrend. So off rip, if I go for strictly buys in the uptrend, strictly sells in the downtrend, I automatically have a higher likelihood of that trade going in my favor. And when volume kicks in, that volume going in my favor as well, right? So then the second rule I got is, again, I only want to enter buys in the uptrend, and then I only want to enter buys off support levels, right? Just like the buy we took on Friday during the live, we entered off the support level. We saw price break through, then we waited for price to retest. Price retested, held at support, went for the buy. Just like here, price failed to hold here. Again, is why we don't break out trade. Would have took unnecessary loss, but instead we patiently waited for price to retrace. Then we went for the buy, right? Then we see here that price ended up surpassing this level, right? So we want to enter buys on support levels, and there's the exact opposite, right? For sells, we only want to enter sells when we're in a downtrend, and then when we enter sells when we're downtrend, we want to strictly only enter sells off of resistance levels, right? You're never going to see me take a sell off a support level, a buy off a resistance level. You're never going to see me take a sell in the uptrend or a buy in the downtrend. All right, so those are my rules, right? And then a bonus rule is you want to go for 1 to 2 to 1 to 3. Again, you see buys off support, buys off support. This was a resistance level, sells off resistance, right? So then an extra bonus rule is you want to go for 1 to 2 to 1 to 3 minimum risk-reward ratio setups. All right. When you go for 1 to 2 to 1 to 3 minimum risk-reward ratio setups, you automatically, as long as you have a higher win rate and you risk the same amount every single trade, you're automatically always going to cancel out your losses. You're always going to be ahead of the game, right? It's simple math. I talk about and do the math all the time, but really quick, just to show y'all, you know, why that's so important, right? Because I know y'all seen a video at least once or twice where someone's like, oh, you know, I took a loss, so my next trade I'm gonna risk less to counter that loss. That's not what you want to do. Or you see sometimes people online will be like, oh, you know, well, I feel extra confident in this trade, so I'm gonna risk more. That's not what you want to do. You want to be consistent with everything. Consistency is key, right? So when we pull out the handy dandy calculator, again, just using basic numbers. Let's say we got $1,000 account, and let's say we're risking $100 per trade. So let's say we had $1,000 account. Again, we're risking $100 per trade. And let's say we lost the trade, right? We didn't blow our account. So again, what would most people do after this? Most people after this will be like, oh, well, now I'm going to risk less because I don't want to lose more money, or I want to not lose another $100. But that's not what you want to do, right? That's why I always tell people to risk 1 to 5% of your account per trade. If you're risking 1 to 5% of your account per trade, there's nothing to be scared about. If you risk 5% of your account per trade, you would have to lose 20 trades in a row to blow your account. If you risk 2% of your account per trade, you would have to lose 50 trades in a row to blow your account, right? And if you risk 1% of your account per trade, you literally have to lose 100 trades in a row to blow your account. Now, nobody here, especially if you have a consistent strategy, should be scared of losing 100 trades in a row, let alone 50, and hopefully not 20 trades in a row. Because if you lose 20 trades in a row, you're either brand new to trading or you're not sticking to your trading plans and you're just chasing price. All right, so we just hit the next TP, so hold that thought. We'll let the students know. We just hit TP. TP1. On the second position, we hit TP7 on the position from Friday. TP7 hit. Then we have TP1 hit. Again, y'all, we do this live. We just had 3 charts play out during this live stream. Me and the members are in G right now. We have GJ going as projected. We got GN going as projected. Now, GN and GU are the only 2 that did the retest confirmations we was looking for. But these 3 charts are going as projected. All right, so again, we do this live. When I tell y'all all these trades we break down, we went over live. I don't just be saying that to make y'all watch my YouTube videos. It's because it's factual, right? I literally be damn near begging. I ain't never going to beg, but I damn near be twisting y'all's arms. Like, if y'all just show up to class, y'all will see the method to the madness. But you know, some people, I gotta fix my trading view because I can't do what I used to be able to do on this. But yeah, we're just pushing. We're pushing hard. So I'm gonna go back to answer your question, Chanel. I got you, but give me a second because the charts are doing what the charts are doing right now. So we just hit the final TP on the trade from last week. And this is why I just, like I was saying in the beginning of the live, it's super, super simple. You let price do all the work. You just got to be patient. Just let price do all the work, right? Like, I'm not stressing. I'm not sweating right now because I'm not doing anything. My job is simple. I already put the time in and learned how the charts work. I already put the time in and figured out my trading plan, my trading strategy. So now all I got to do is let price do everything else. Right, that's all we're doing. We're just letting price do everything else. Hit that like button, y'all. If y'all jumped into either one of these trades, y'all should be up right now. We're starting the week off right. And again, we also broke all of these setups down in the Sunday chart analysis. We dropped it at 10:16 p.m. last night. It's called the playbook for a reason. Let's go back to the calculator, right? So boom, right? We took a trade. We lost $100. What everyone else on the internet will tell you is risk less this next trade. No, I'm telling you to risk the same amount. Again, it's just like what I talk about in my intros. I show you how to make money both on the front end as well as the back end. I made videos on Instagram and TikTok talking about this as well. A lot of people don't think percentages, they think numbers. And they also try to make their money on the front end instead of the back end. What do I mean? People think, oh, if I put this lot size, then I can make X amount of dollars. Yes, we can also lose X amount of dollars. What I teach the members and students in the playbook course and the one-on-one sessions is to risk the same amount every single trade, but go for high risk-reward ratio setups, not high lot sizes. Go for high risk-reward ratio setups, not high lot sizes. Go for high risk-reward ratio setups, not high lot sizes. Because again, if you let the charts do the work and keep your amount you're risking at a minimum, again, all you need is a 1 to 2 to 1 to 3 risk to ratio setup, which you see we catch damn near every single fucking day. It's not hard to find a 1 to 2 to 1 to 3 risk to ratio setup, right? It's not hard to find a 1 to 2, 1 to 3 risk to ratio setup. Right? This was a nasty 1 to 9. Oh my goodness. Yeah, we took that setup. It was a nasty 1 to 4, 1 to 4, 1 to 4, 9, 1 to 6, 1.5. 1 to 3, 1 to 7, 1 to 4, almost 1 to 2. So again, it's very simple to find 1 to 1, 1 to 2 to 1 to 3 minimum risk ratio setup. And all those that you see like this that are 1 to 1s, those are when they don't hit all the TPs, which is another reason why I say go for 1 to 2 to 1 to 3 minimum. Like, I cringe when I see something. If you do this, it's all good. When you know better, you do better. I cringe when I see people flex 1 to 1 setups or tell people to go for 1 to 1, because again, simple math. If I'm risking, I'm giving y'all some serious game right now, so make sure to hit that like button and subscribe, right? Because I'm actually here to teach y'all. So if I'm risking $100 per trade, but I only go for a 1 to 1 risk ratio setup, and it goes halfway, I'm only making $50, but I'm risking $100. And if it hits the final TP, I'm only making $100, which is what my initial risk was. Versus I go from 1 to 2 to 1 to 3, I'm risking $100. But if it hits the final TP, I'm making $200 to $300, which is a good return on your investment. And if it goes halfway, I'm still at least making $100 to $150, depending on if it's a 1 to 2 to 1 to 3 ratio setup I'm going for, right? So going back to the initial example, let's say we took a loss. I'm telling you to risk the same amount because all it takes is a 1 to 2 to 1 to 3 short ratio setup. And not only did you cancel out that loss, but you're back up for the week. And again, look at this. I'm telling you, math don't lie. Again, we lose $100. Let's say that next trade we take was a 1 to 3. Again, 100 times 3 is a simple number, simple math. That's $300, right? So again, I'm up. So with this, I can literally lose 2 trades in a row. I can literally lose 2 trades in general. But all I need is a 1 to 2 to a 1 to 3 ratio setup, and I'm still either break even or up for the week. So that's why I say when you stick to the playbook, right, you'll never blow an account. Again, I'm speaking from experience. I have never blown an account since I've stuck to the playbook, or since every time I stick to the playbook, or since I've stuck to the playbook. Because in the beginning, there was time I broke my rules, but I don't break them no more. I had not blown an account, right? Even with prop firm challenges, only accounts I blow with prop firm challenges are ones I'm being extra aggressive on, but that's after I already made my first payout, so it's basically free money after that. That's a whole nother conversation, right? But with prop firm challenges, I've literally been at 0.5% away from blowing my account or 1% away from violating. But because I stuck to the plan, not only did I make it back to break even, but I made it back to getting a payout and saving my account, right? And it's by simply sticking to the process and trusting the playbook, right? And I go over that in this book here as well, The Trader's Mindset, Master Psychology and Risk Management. I go over trading psychology. I go over how to leverage risk, master discipline, how to never blow an account again, learn how to trust yourself while staying cool, calm, and collected. I also give you my trading plan in this book, as well as much more. So again, it's called The Playbook for a reason. I told you I have a lot of stuff I've been cooking. I still got a lot of stuff I'm working on and dropping this year. I'm telling y'all, we're taking over day by day, y'all. That's all I got to say. We just hit another T. Damn, my screen just went out. How long was I out? Hopefully I wasn't out too long because I was cooking. Let me see how long we was out. Hopefully it wasn't out too long. Let me see. Okay, so I sound a little bit good, but if I ever sound kind of scratchy or bad, let me know, and I'll get closer to the mic because I'm still not used to sticking my face or keeping my face in the mic. So if I ever sound choppy or y'all can't hear me, let me know, and I'll do what I need to do on my end to make sure y'all can hear me. Break this stuff down. But we just hit another TP. So again, this is a perfect example, right? GM didn't do the retest confirmation. Kept on flying to the upside. What did I say for those that was in this live? That's fine. I'm still going to stick to my rules. There's still other charts I'm looking at, right? Then we saw GJ play out. Cool. We saw this play out. So this is what I'm talking about. If y'all watch the Monday session live, it's funny because I said this at the beginning of the live, right? The charts I look at, there's guaranteed to be at least 2 to 3 charts minimum daily, as long as there's volume. That's going to be going as projected. You get what I'm saying? So never be in a rush to take a setup and just stick to your rules, and the markets will reward you, as we see right here. So we just hit another TP, y'all. Yeah, I think we just hit the final TP on that last trade. Yeah, we did. So yeah, we're cooking right now. We're cooking right now. Yeah, that's the method to the madness. I always tell the members of students in one-on-one sessions, I'm not going to just tell you not to touch the stove. I'm going to tell you not to touch the stove because the stove is high. If you touch the stove, you're going to burn yourself, right? Because just like that example, right? You tell somebody not to touch the stove, tell your child not to touch the stove out of curiosity. Child, we're gonna touch that shit, especially if you told us not to. And they were like, "Ow, damn, that was hot." It was like, "Oh, well, I told you not to touch it, but you didn't tell me why." You get what I'm saying? So a lot of times I notice we understand why we're doing things, we're going to help a lot more people stick to those rules, also understand why it is a rule. You get what I'm saying? I'm telling you, it's called a playbook for a reason. Stick to all the playbooks. You stick to the playbook, you're only going to see success. You're only going to see success. And then look at GN, doing what we was talking about. So at this point, we're either going to see price reject, come back down, or we're going to break this low and keep pushing up. Right? This is pushing nicely. We're going to be on for a little bit longer, y'all. If you guys got any questions, drop them in the chat. When we're looking at these charts, drop them in the chat. Again, there's no such thing as dumb questions. You don't know what you don't know. All right, y'all. Shout out to everybody in the live. Shout out to everybody that's been alive since the beginning. Shout out to everybody that's been alive since y'all joined. Make sure to hit that first link in the description. Join a free student or free Telegram. If you're interested in learning how to identify these levels, my student service, my mentorship program, make sure to hit those links in the description, y'all. Again, let me pull it back up. The Q2 sale is still on and popping. It ends at the end of the month, y'all. So we still got a few days left. Again, everything is 25% off. It's one of my biggest sales. I don't think I've ever done anything. I know I made it to 25% off before, but it's been like a year plus. But I haven't done a sale in a minute. Y'all been blowing my phone up recently, but asking about the sales and the discounts. I got y'all. So again, take advantage while they're here. It's been active literally since the beginning of the month, y'all. Everything's 25% off. That's all the books. That's Advanced Play Signal Room, monthly, yearly, and lifetime, one-on-one sessions, as well as the playbook course. Everything is 25% off. Just use discount code Q2 before purchase and checkout, and it will automatically do its thing, right? Haven't had any issues. New members and students have been using that discount code. There's been no issue. I've also had people use it for the books, no issue. So you're good. Just use Q2 and you're straight. All right, y'all. But yeah, make sure to catch up on the videos. All playlists are up to date. I may or may not have a YouTube video dropping today, but I definitely got some posts dropping on Instagram and TikTok for y'all. So make sure to follow me on Instagram and TikTok. Y'all see that scrolling at the bottom of y'all screens. Instagram playmaker_way, TikTok _playmaker_way_ post daily on both pages. I did re-download Twitter. I'm gonna get on there. I just gotta get used to adding that to my routine. And I've never been a Twitter user, so I gotta get used to the platform because it's completely different from the platforms I'm used to. So I just gotta play around with it, explore a little, see how that shit goes. But I am gonna start posting on there next month consistently. I just gotta figure out first if I want to, if I like it or not, and see what this trading space on Twitter is like. I've heard there's the trading space on Twitter is a little bit different. So I'm gonna see what that's talking about. But yeah, y'all, if you guys want to contact me directly, I can DM me on Instagram, TikTok, or Telegram. I respond to all messages. We'll be back at the same time tomorrow. We'll end the session 3 p.m. EST.